Hello, Jean Cregan, Director of Faith Formation. It's nice to be with you again today. The end of June every year marks the anniversary of my joining the team at Holy Family. That anniversary always causes me to reflect back on the year that we've just completed and on just how things have gone and what's new and what's changed. This year, as I was reflecting, I was struck by how grateful I am for the ways I've personally grown and changed as a result of my being a part of the Holy Family community. This year, I was struck by a very simple practice that has made such a powerful impact over me in the last few years. God moments. Some people call them God winks. We call them God moments. Many of you may be familiar with God moments. Times or moments in our lives when we are acutely aware of God's presence. This month and every month, the Parish Council begins its meeting by sharing God moments, as does the parish staff. God moments were a big part of the girls' confirmation retreat some years ago. Father Bob sometimes just walks into the parish center and says, "I just had a God moment," and then he'll go on to share it. Now, a great deal of my formation has been in Ignatian spirituality, and foundational in Ignatian spirituality is the idea of finding God in all things. But for years, I only zoned in on those things when I had time, when I was quiet, on a retreat, or in a more intensive environment, which is why this practice has had such a profound impact on me, because I so frequently am blessed to hear other people's experiences of God in their lives that I zone in a little bit more on my own. It's a powerful experience to hear other people's experiences of God, and it helps me look at my daily experiences as well and be much more aware of the moments that God is present in my own life. I remember many years ago, the Oprah Winfrey Show had a challenge. She challenged her viewers to start a gratitude challenge, to document in a journal 5 things that they were grateful for each day. I watched an episode where women talked about how when they started the challenge, it was hard to come up with 1 or 2, and by the end, they couldn't stop writing. They would write all day long. God moments have worked for me in the very same way. The way they are shared throughout Holy Family heightens my attention to where God shows up over and over again in my life. And not just in dramatic ways, but in very simple ways. When my children were young, I used to pray that they would be close as they grew old. Through the days of normal sibling bickering, I sometimes felt that was a hopeless cause. But it was so important to me, as my siblings are among the most important relationships in my life, that I kept praying. During quarantine, God showed me in many powerful ways that they in fact do love and care for one another. It was truly an answer to prayer one night, watching the 3 of them sit together on the couch, singing along with the Disney sing-along, belting out the tunes. Don't tell my 13-year-old son I told you he did that. I was, in fact, keenly aware of God answering my prayer that night, and I thanked God in the moment, right there and then, as I laughed along with them. I've become acutely aware of, recently, how much I take for granted the beautiful area in which we live. I was recently literally stopped in my tracks on the river. I was a bit grumpy when I arrived, and I felt an overwhelming sense of peace as I looked out over the beautiful scene that I knew was created by God. There was nothing different about the scene. It was just that I tuned in and noticed God's beauty in nature. And I was so grateful for that beauty. These were really simple examples that happened only recently to me that I might not have noticed, but God moments being shared have caused me to look for where God is showing up in my life all the time and to pay attention in the moment. How about you? Maybe we should create God moment journals. Have you ever had a God moment? Feel free to share your God moments in the chat. Hearing others' experiences of God has helped me grow and change. So let's grow and change together.